Well, we got Stanley back. Happy Sunday evening, everybody. I am making this because I really need to get this out. This is my race recap for the Bear Lake Ultra, my first ultra marathon. I can't even say how psyched I am. First things first, I would love to thank the volunteers that made this possible for me and a lot of other people. So, okay, here we go. Before the race, it did not start out good. Stanley blew a brake line the day before. I take Stanley to get an oil change. Just before we leave, they do the courtesy of, let's check your brake lights, turn signals. I hit the brakes, and doggy's not happy. Anyway, I hit the brakes, and I see fluid shoot out the side of the tire. And I'm like, what did you do? And she's like, I wasn't even close to that. And she goes, hit your brake again. So I do. The fluid shoots out. And about that time, seriously, out in front of the oil change place, and like hits or sideswipes one car, hits another, flips it over, and speeds away. Now, mind you, if I wouldn't have blown a brake line, I would have been out there at the end of the drive of the oil change place where the one vehicle that got hit flipped over into. And so got him to a repair place, and they were so gracious and so nice. And I said, I've got to make this race. I've been waiting for this all year. And they did. They worked really hard and literally got it done just before they closed. So grateful to them. Shout out to Van Aard's Repair. I'm sending everybody your way. Well, we got Stanley back. Just like the guys at Van Laar, rock stars. Total rock stars. So anyway, I had everything packed up, ready to go. I was really, they didn't know if they would be able to get it repaired in time, but they did. So I had everything packed up and ready to go. So as soon as they called, I ran Austin to Camp Bow Wow, came home, grabbed my bike, rode it up there, which about probably a mile, and picked it up, brought it home, threw everything in there, and took off. And it was about a 2.5 hour drive. So I didn't make it up there until like 8:30. They still had packet pickup, they had a hot pasta meal, and my name had been drawn, and I won a little camp table and a custom gear bag, which I was like, yay! So then, because I had Stanley and everybody was actually intense, they're like, well, you gotta stay in the parking lot. So I went in the back in this little corner, which was just it was so perfect. And I'll tell you why in a minute. So anyway, parked back there, it was pouring rain. I felt so bad for everybody that was camping. I was so thankful to have Stanley, where I was warm and dry. It was just really nice. So anyway, once we got parked, I got everything ready. Now, I had brought all 3 pairs of my trail shoes, thinking I would swap them out at different parts of the race. So I had all 3 pair, all New Balance. I am a New Balance gal. So then, got everything ready, kind of prepared for rain and chilly. Went to bed, got up at 6, race started at 8, got up at 6, had a little bit of breakfast, had my morning coffee, got ready, and you had to walk up this big fire hill. And when I say fire hill, I'm not kidding, because that's the highest point around, so if there are fires, they can see it. So it's a huge hill. That was our start finish. You literally went up the hill at the end of a lap, circled through the aid station, got your aid, went back down and started your next lap. It was a 5K lap. So I had to do 10 laps for the ultra, which would give me 31 miles. It ended up giving me 31 miles and change. I really can't say enough to the volunteers. They were phenomenal. Anyway, we started the race at 8 a.m. Now, when I signed up for this race, I knew about the fire hill. I did not know or realize the rest of this race was like a roller coaster. It was up, down. And some of them were like, seriously, straight up, straight down. So after a few laps, my quads and calves were just screaming. But here is the really cool thing. When I said I parked Stanley and I was like back in a corner, this was actually right next to the trail. Like right there. So I was able to go to Stanley, get what I needed to get, use my Theraguns on my quads and my calves. It worked really perfect. So I would stop there and get what, and 2, I had stuff there that they didn't have at the aid station, like my gels and things like that I wanted, and my noon hydration. They were using UCAN and Gatorade. A few laps, and this was my race plan going in, because as you know, I have been battling a hip injury for a year now. So my training hasn't been fantastic by any means. So going in, my race plan was to keep my heart rate under 150 with a goal of 144, which worked out perfect. Next was walk all the inclines and declines, just to give that hip as much leeway as possible, to not irritate it and make it mad. The next was each loop I would eat and drink, regardless if I thought I needed it or not, or wanted it or not. I was going to eat and drink. Once I got going, I didn't know that Stanley was that close, to use what I needed to and change out my shoes and my socks when I felt I needed to. So anyway, first few laps, I realized, wow, this is super hilly. It was, wow, crazy. But so much fun out on the course. There are so many people. This is a race that is like a you go to every year. You see the people. It's just a fun race. And this was at a Lions camp for the blind. So all the proceeds went to Lions camp, which was phenomenal. They ended up with 14,000 plus for this camp, which, yeah, I love that. So the race is a 24-hour race. How many laps you can or want to do 5K loops in 24 hours. My goal was just to hit that ultra. I wanted that ultra so I can say I'm an ultra marathon. The rain held off for the most part. We had a couple little sprinkles, wasn't horrible. My second to last lap, yeah, it was a downpour. And so my feet actually got wet. So anyway, each lap I would eat and drink my things that I really loved at the aid station. Was at first I started out with PB&J sandwiches. They sat on my tummy really well. And I would take in water, Gatorade on myself. I had a water bottle, and I also had a bottle of noon hydration. So I had that on my belt for when I was out there and if I decided I needed to drink. That was the start. After a few laps, I was starting to sweat a little bit more, warm up, and I decided, that my tastes were kind of changing as to what I wanted. And all of a sudden, they had grilled cheese sandwiches. That was like the best. It was like the best thing ever. And like I said, I was sweating. I was noticing I was doing a lot more sweating as, the day went on. So one thing I started taking, and I swore I would never do because I think it's like gross, is pickle juice. I would take a couple things of pickle juice and chase it with either Gatorade or Noon. Just chase it, get it down. That stuff was like green gold, let me tell you. I would do a couple cups of that, and of course the hydration, and some grilled cheese, and I'd probably be, I don't know, half a mile into the second lap, and wow, I'm feeling pretty good. I feel better. And and that's what I kind of stuck with until probably lap 7. They started with quesadillas. So I would come in, continued with the pickle juice, and switched over to quesadillas for a little while, for a couple of laps, and that was really good. And so I would grab this. Oh, that was the other thing. One of my goals was no more than 3 minutes in the aid station. Because, and people say, why, because the more you sit there, the more your body is stiffening up, the more you won't want to leave. So my goal was 3 minutes. You got 3 minutes to get your stuff and move. So I would be going down the fire hill with my little bit of hydration and my quesadilla or my grilled cheese, shoving it in my mouth. So by the time I got down the fire hill and started back up, they were gone. I had them ate. Worked out really great, folks. Let me tell you. So anyway, one of the coolest things was I had so many people say, you've never even run a marathon and you're going to do an ultra? Come on. Yeah. When I hit that mile 26, I took a picture they had a lion statue. I took a picture with that lion statue saying, this girl just hit her marathon. And everybody was like, you know, yeah, you're going to hit this bonk, this. And I never hit a bonk. I never did. Because I paid attention to eating and drinking. So I never hit a bonk. I never hit that wall. I felt good. Other than my quads and my calves from the uphills and downhills screaming and wanting to rip off my body. So anyway, second to last lap was the downpour. So I stopped at Stanley, and my shoes were just doing so well. And I also, because my feet are crappy, people, they are so crappy, I use silicone little toe separators. So I had those. So what I did was I took them out, added a little bit more toe goo. Let me tell you, folks, toe goo stuff is amazing. Anyway, added some more toe goo, positioned the silicone inserts, put on fresh socks, but I went back to the shoes. I used the same shoes the entire race just because my feet felt good. So, you don't mess up something that's feeling good, folks. So I just left it alone. The last lap, yeah, I was getting tired. I mean, not tired. I really wasn't tired. It was my quads and my calves were just, even though I was taking in that salt, they were like, holy cow, we haven't trained for this up, down, up, down, up, down stuff. And so they were screaming. So my last lap was a run, walk, shuffle. It was kind of pathetic, really. But got the job done. And the wonderful thing, too, about this race, you would come into the chute where you ran over a timing mat, and then you went into aid station, and they would see you coming, and they'd say, runner coming in! And everybody would stop and clap and cheer. It was amazing how much that just lifts you up, because I was there alone. I mean, I didn't have friends there running with me. I was alone. So that was just amazing. It was so nice. So anyway, once I came into my last lap, I said, I'm done. I'm cashing out here. 11 hours, 18 minutes, 33 seconds. And when the runner said she hit her goal, she did her ultra of 31 miles, they all stopped and just cheered. And I got to take some pictures with the 50K finisher, which you've seen. It was just amazing. I went back to Stanley, actually had a meal, got my things together, went back up the fire hill, which was like, ow, 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 ow. Oh, while I was getting a meal, I was using the Theragun. Theragun, people, was the lifesaver. That and pickle juice. Lifesavers. Oh, and the silicone inserts. Yeah. So anyway, I went up to the shower. They have wonderful showers, heated. Went up there, took a little fireball shot with me because I'm like, I don't know what my feet look like. I was quite surprised. I did not have blisters. Not one single blister. But I did have some skin peeling off the end of the toes. where that silicone went to like here. So I had a little bit of peeling up here of skin. Nails fine, but I'm not going to lose any nails. And so, was I happy with this race? Oh my goodness, people, I am so happy with this race. This race was just everything, because I shut down the naysayers. You know, they said, you've never run a marathon, you are never going to do this. I did this and felt good the whole time. Advice to you, don't listen to naysayers. Where do I go from here? Well, I came home and I actually I took off the whole week thinking I'd feel so bad. I felt, yeah, I was sore the first couple days, but after that, I mean, I've actually done a run and a couple strength workouts this week, so, and I went back to work. I feel fantastic. So, what do you do? Well, I signed up for a 50-miler. That's in April. Yeah. So, I'm going to take 6 weeks now. My off season starts. I'll be doing some strength and some conditioning for the next 6 weeks. Then I will start back into the ultra plan I use that I've been using for this. Start back into that, and I will be doing the Thumb Coast Ultra in April. So that's what we're doing. Hey, 60 is really looking up, boys and girls. It is. I turned 60 on Halloween, and I feel better now than I did in my 20s. So anyway, I hope you like this video. I hope I answered some of the questions. I know I had a lot of questions on nutrition and shoes and what I did. So I hope I answered these questions. If I didn't, just leave a comment down below and I will answer them. And please like, subscribe. It really helps me out. And follow mine and Adventure Dog Austin's journeys. And yes, I will be, promise, I will be sending you a van build. I will be uploading the van build from beginning through the subfloor, floor, and bed. I promise I will do that. But anyway, I hope you are chasing your dreams. You are living fierce. And again, please like, subscribe.